Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with the Vegan Zombie. Now, I know it's been a while, but I'm finally back in my kitchen, and I've been getting a lot of requests to make something really cool for the Super Bowl, which is tomorrow. So I think I have the perfect thing for you. I'm gonna make some vegan popcorn chicken, also known as tofu bites. And I'm gonna make it 4 different ways. I think you're really gonna like it. Cooking with the Vegan Zombie. Okay, this recipe is really simple. I have some tofu here. This is extra firm tofu. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with tofu, there's also silken tofu. Do not buy this, because if you make it with this, you're probably gonna hate tofu. Don't use silken tofu, even if it does say extra firm. Forget that. You're gonna go with extra firm tofu. I usually buy my local brand Wegmans tofu. Sometimes an extra firm tofu can be more firm or less firm than another brand of extra firm tofu. So try to go with a really firm extra firm tofu, if you know what I mean. Right here I have the Nasoya brand of extra firm tofu, and in my opinion it's not as firm as I would like it to be, but we're gonna make it work. So you're gonna want a sharp knife, don't cut yourself. We are just gonna cut right into that. We are going to drain this water. I have a paper towel. You can use a towel, whatever. I don't usually press my tofu. A lot of people press their tofu. I'm gently just gonna get most of the water off the outside of it, okay? If your tofu is too spongy and has too much water, feel free to drain some of that water out of there. Okay, so I got most of the excess water off of the outside of it at least. Okay, now there's 2 different ways we can do this. We're gonna split this up. To get a real authentic chickeny kind of tofu, we're gonna kind of break it up. We don't wanna break it up into too big of a piece, and we don't wanna break it up into too small of a piece. So we're gonna just kind of like tear it up to about little pieces like that. See that? I make this all the time, and I usually just cut them into cubes. Doesn't really matter to me when nobody's there to see it look all nice and pretty. And then I'll cook them in my air fryer and just eat them like that, or put them on my salad or whatever. And if it's not firm enough, you don't get the extra firm, it's just gonna fall apart and you're not gonna be able to do it like this. We are going to take these and just kind of put them over here in this bowl. I would have just put them in the bowl first, but I was kind of showing you what I was doing there. We are using a whole block of tofu. We want all the pieces to be pretty much the same because we want it to all cook the same. Feel free to put whatever kind of spices you want to make it taste good. I have a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. I have 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and then just a couple pinches of dried oregano and a couple pinches of dried basil, and then 1 teaspoon of cumin. We're gonna have a couple cracks of black pepper here, and optional, I'm gonna put about a half of a teaspoon of Vegan Zombie chili powder in there. On top of that, I have about a half of a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And this is optional, you don't have to worry if you can't find it, but I'm using liquid smoke, and I'm gonna put just a little bit of a squirt in there. We're gonna carefully mix everything around with our hands. We don't want that tofu to break up too much. All right, and now we are going to use our air fryer. I have here a Chefman Air Fryer. It is extremely easy to use. I use mine just about every single day. There is no oil in this at all. And we are just going to carefully put that in there. Get all those big pieces. Any of the little pieces can kind of just stay in here. You can cook that up if you want somewhere else, but you don't want it to fall through the cracks here. And this is also a lot less messy if you cut them into cubes, but they look a lot better like this. So I got a few pieces in here that aren't gonna fit that I'm just gonna put over here to the side, and you can cook that up in a scramble or whatever. All right, this is extremely easy to use. Now that you got it in the basket, I'm gonna put it in there like that. I have the heat all the way over to 390, and all you really have to do is turn that timer. And I'm gonna put it all the way on about 20 minutes. And now we're gonna wait. All right, after 15 or 20 minutes, you're gonna wanna open it up and see if it's nice and crispy. If it is, you're good to go. If not, put it in for another 10 minutes or so. All right. And I put mine in for another 10, so it took about 30 minutes. As you can see, a nice crispy piece of tofu. Ouch, top. Okay, so you can eat it just like this. It's nicely seasoned, but we are going to split this up into two different. All right, so the first one, I got a bowl. I have a quarter teaspoon of paprika in here. So pour that in there like that. I have 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, and I have some vegan barbecue sauce. This is Wegmans organic vegan barbecue sauce. It's my local grocery store. You can use whatever barbecue sauce you want. And I'm just gonna pour about 2 or 3 tablespoons in there. Because this is half a batch right now. If it was a full batch, I'd probably put 1/4 cup in there. And then I have some Frank's Red Hot. I don't like to go too hot, and I can handle the Frank's Red Hot. You don't have to put in hot sauce, but I'm gonna put about a teaspoon in. And then we're just gonna mix this around, mix that up. There we have some nice barbecue tofu bites right there. Very easy to make in the air fryer. I'm gonna make a little sauce for this. I have some organic spicy brown mustard. I'm just gonna put about a tablespoon. And then I got some agave. I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons in. We're just gonna mix that together. We have a vegan honey mustard. Put that in a little dish next to it, dip them in there, or you could pour it all over it. We have 2 different flavors, and I promised you 4, so here's what we're gonna do. I have a large bowl. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, a teaspoon of chili powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a few pinches of dried oregano and dried basil. I'm also going to put some cracked black pepper in there, about a half a teaspoon of sea salt, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Now we're gonna whisk that all up. Here I have a pot of oil. It's about that full, and we're gonna heat it up on a medium-high heat. If you don't wanna use oil, you can stop right here and use these 2 versions, but we're looking for that nice crispy coating. So here I have the Follow Your Heart vegan egg. And the way you make it, put a nice little powder here. And it really smells like an egg, and I never liked eggs, so I'm not too much of a fan of it, but we're using it to cook with. So we are going to take 2 tablespoons of this, and I have here half a cup of ice cold water. And we're gonna whisk it up. Whisk, whisk, whisk. And it's just gonna thicken up. Ugh, smells like an egg. Okay, so that's the perfect consistency for this. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this tofu that doesn't have any barbecue sauce on it, and we're just gonna dunk them all in there. And we're just going to dunk them in the breading. You're gonna have one hand as you're gonna be your wet hand, and the other hand's gonna be your dry hand. So we're just gonna press those down in there. Got a lot of containers for this recipe. So these are all gonna go into the oil, the hot oil. Now you want to be careful with that oil. You don't want it to be too hot, and you don't want it to be not hot enough. It should start sizzling as soon as you put it in there, but you don't want it to turn black and burn. Sizzle, sizzle. So be careful putting these in here. And this is perfect in case any zombies come. You can just throw all this at them and hit them over the head with the pan and make your escape. We're gonna let it cook until it's nicely brown. And I suggest getting a spoon like this. A metal one would probably be better. You don't want it to melt. And we have a plate with a paper towel to put everything down when it's done. And you just want it to get nice and golden brown like this. You don't want it to turn black. You don't want it to burn. All right, they're about done. We're gonna take them out. All right, there you have it. Perfect breading, nice and crunchy, nice and flavorful. Now you might ask why I didn't just do that in the first place. Why did I use the air fryer? Well, it tastes a lot better when you season it first and cook it through in the air fryer and then put it in there. I know it's a two-step process, but you're going to thank me because these are delicious. And sometimes when you put it, you just take the tofu and you put it straight into the oil. The insides is a little bit wet and it's not done and it just doesn't taste as good. So this is the way to go. This is so flavorful, and you're probably wondering what my last flavor is going to be. Okay, so I'm not going to use the egg this time. This is my little secret. We have our barbecue tofu over here. We have our breading. The tofu is totally slathered with barbecue and hot sauce. We're just going to take that like it is, put it right in there. The barbecue sauce is going to be what makes the breading stick to it. So now we're just going to make sure it's totally coated like the other one was, and we're just going to repeat this process, and we're going to take it back over there to the oil, do the same thing. These are going to be so delicious with that barbecue sauce and hot sauce as the binder. You kind of want to get them all in at the same time so some of them don't cook faster than the others. And that oil is nice and hot, so I can start to turn it down now as it just cooks. We have beautiful, delicious popcorn chicken. We have the regular seasoned one, and then we have the barbecue seasoned one. And these are, they look amazing. Look at that. See that? Barbecue one, a little bit of barbecue sauce here. I could eat all of these for a meal, they're so good. And then one of these ones. Look at that crispy coating, so good. A little bit of honey mustard there. This is the best tofu popcorn chicken I've ever had. I don't know which one I like better, they're both delicious. That's 4 different ways to make it. Let me know if you end up making one of these recipes, which one you like the best. And stay safe, watch out for zombies, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and if you guys were wondering, yes, that's E.T. in the background. It was my birthday last week, and that is a belated birthday cake. It is vegan, and I just haven't had the heart to cut into it. It looks amazing, it smells amazing. Can you guys guess what my favorite movie is? Well, let me know in the comments below. See you guys.